folks. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this bootstrapping problem with Statcrunch. So we have this data here, and we're asked to use bootstrapping to find the 95% confidence interval for the mean of these geyser eruptions. So if we click on the icon right here, we can open up all the bootstrap samples. Okay, and then if we click the little blue icon up in the corner, we can decide to open all these samples in Statcrunch. So this is a good example of a time when we would really have to use technology for this problem because there's 200 samples here we're using for the bootstrapping. So I don't think we're going to find the mean of 200 samples all by hand. That sounds pretty bananas. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, since we're finding a confidence interval for a mean, is we need to find the mean of each one of these samples. So to do that, we're going to go up to the Stat key and choose Stat, Summary Stats, Columns. Once we're in here, we want to select all of these samples. So to do that, the easiest way is to just click inside this box and then on the keyboard hit Control-A and it'll just select everything. So again, we were trying to do a confidence interval for a mean. So down here under Statistics, I'm just going to select a mean. If this was a confidence interval for, say, a standard deviation or some other parameter, you could just choose whatever parameter is appropriate down here. So we want the mean, so we've chosen mean. Now the key for the bootstrapping problems is once we determine what all these different mean values are, we want to store these inside the grid here, in the same place where the sample data was stored. Otherwise, we won't really be able to work with it later if it just shows up in that display box. We want it to be in the actual spreadsheet. So to get it there, we're just going to click this little box that says Store in Data Table. So if we click on that, and then we're going to click Compute. So we don't need this. So what it did was it gave us this column here at the end called mean, conveniently, and these are all the different means for all the different samples that we had. Okay, so let me move this over so we can see the problem a little bit better. So we were looking for, a 95% confidence interval for this problem. So 95% confidence interval means, of course, that 95% is in the middle. So the remaining 5% is going to be split between the two tails on the left and the right. So that's 5% left over split between two tails, means we're going to have 2.5% on the left and 2.5% on the right. So the percentiles we're looking for are 2.5, that's for the left, and 97.5. So that corresponds to 2.5% on the right, leaving 97.5% on the left. To get the percentiles, I'm going to go back to the Stat key, back to Summary Stats, and back to Columns. So now I want to work with that new column that came up that just had all the different sample means in it. That should be down here at the very bottom of my columns. There it is. So I'm going to select that one. And again, I want to find those two percentiles. It's going to be 2.5 in this case and 97.5. So similarly, if this was a 90% confidence interval, then you would have 90% in the middle with 10% split between the two tails, 5% in each side. So that's how you would determine what percentiles you need. So once I have this set up, I'm going to click Compute. And over here at the end, I have my percentiles. So 231.7, if we're rounding to one decimal place, so 231.7 and 248.7. 231.7, 248.7. So over here, we're going to put in 231.7, and I think I said 248.7. And that should be it. Let me know if you have any questions.